Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Bloodborne. Today we're going to blow through both Hintertombs dungeons and just get them out of the way. First, I'm going to head to the Insight shop to get 5 bloodshot eyeballs to give me a total of 9. I'm going to need 9 altogether for both the Hintertombs and the lower Hintertombs dungeon, and it's quicker to just buy them from the Insight shop. Means I'm not going to have to do a whole lot of exploring to get a couple of eyeballs later on. This is a small little detail, but the first time you find a ritual material in the world, it becomes available to purchase at the Insight shop. You just have to find it in the world somewhere first. So, like the living string, for instance, the thing that we got for killing Mother Brain, we can now purchase that, if you noticed, back there from the Insight shop, for 10 insight. Different materials have different costs. I think the living string has the highest cost attached to it, but you don't really need all that many living strings. And not all chalice materials naturally occur in the game world either. So some things you have to kind of quote-unquote farm for. All that really means is you have to explore the dungeons a little bit. Stuff like the Bastard of Loran, which is required for some of the harder Pthumerian Chalice dungeons later on. Even I'm saying it now. Stuff like that you can find deep in the Loran dungeons in a few fixed chests. It doesn't occur naturally outside of the Chalice dungeons, though, so you can't find that and then later buy it from the Insight shop. Chalice materials are mostly... Whoa, this guy. This is my favorite enemy from the Chalice dungeons. Look how fast he runs! Like, he books it! I wish the first time you saw this guy, it wasn't in a Hintertombs dungeon. Because that was not the first way I ever encountered that enemy. It was, oh man, I think it was in one of the later Pthumerian dungeons, or maybe Loran. And you just see it off in the distance, but it's really dark, and then it just runs straight across the room at you, and it's so scary. Oh, those things are cool. I was saying that most of the materials for the Chalice dungeons are not particularly hard to come by. It should be mostly pretty easy to get them all. As long as you explore fairly thoroughly, there's nothing that's actually that annoying to get. You really shouldn't need to ever spend a significant amount of time grinding any of the materials out. Usually it's pretty easy to just find them in the dungeons. And on that note, I'm not actually going to bother exploring the Hintertombs here that much, because they use the same tile set as Pthumerian. You can see the enemy variation isn't too different from what we've seen in the first 2 Pthumerian Chalice dungeons that we did last time, or the ones coming up. This is a boring-ass recycled boss, too. It's just a man-eater boar. Yeah, get you in the butt. No! God, don't mule kick me. And because there's not any substantial or special rewards from the treasure rooms or the side rooms in the Hintertombs, it's not really worth exploring that much. We already have all the materials we need to do... Whoa, mule kicked again. To do, the Hintertomb dungeons. We already have those materials. The only things that I needed extra of were the bloodshot eyeballs I got for 10 insight. So there's really no need or any kind of compelling reason to explore the Hintertombs that much. Kind of why I find them boring. No real reward visually. Doesn't make anything easier on you. It's an easy-ass dungeon. There's nothing really special to find here. So we're just gonna blow through the Hintertombs. It's kind of why I find the Hintertombs to be such a drag, especially compared to the other Chalices. Although I think this is a kind of a room layout that we haven't seen yet. This room structure is going to be repeated a couple times. The Chalice Dungeon seems to be just like a couple of room layouts in different configurations. Once you've seen, I don't know, maybe a dozen if I'm being generous, a dozen different types of rooms. You've probably seen everything. They're just going to be arranged in different orders and stuff, or have different compositions of enemies in them, or maybe different traps sometimes. This, again, though, this is new. I think this is unique to the Hintertombs. This very cool, rickety kind of peaks and valleys, rickety bridge suspended over a poisonous swamp. I'm not sure if you see that too many other times. Oh. That was pure reaction time. Aside from the first floor of this dungeon, I don't remember too much of it. I don't have it committed to memory, so there might be some accidental exploration, but for the most part, I'm just beelining it straight for the levers. I'll take some time out to kill you guys. Just on the off chance they drop like a decent curse gem or something. That's poisonous fog. So it's kind of a newish trap, or usually the smog that we see is just there to obscure your vision. You can knock over the cauldrons that are creating that smoke. He's dropping or throwing poisonous urns at me. The lever for this floor is pretty far in. Hey, fuck off. You can kick them, but it's not worth your time. I think it's R1 to kick below you and R2 to punch above you, something like that. I don't really remember the ladder controls. Yeah, the lever for this floor is fairly deep in. I think it's at the end of this hallway, once I clear out the rats. These rats are a lot more disgusting than some of the other ones we've seen. They're full of, like, pus-filled pustules. Just looking for a different word. Cysts or tumors. But again, the only reason to come through here, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be faster because of how much they improved the loading times. Yeah, that was like a 5-second load. 6, maybe 7. Just keep rounding up until I'm there. Yeah, way faster. Just use the homeward bone. There's a side room there that it's not really worth going down. The most you'll get here is like Ritual Blood 4 or maybe 3 or something. We do see a different variation of the undead giant enemy. This one has a cleaver and a cannon. So at the mid-range and the long range, he'll fire the cannonball at you. The cannonball explodes. You need kind of an overhead or a jumping attack to hit his cyst and do substantial damage to him. You can slam the ground and do AoE. At close range, he'll just kind of spin around and try to hit you with either the cleaver or the cannon. This variation of the undead giant's no problem, though, because again, this is a Depth 2 dungeon. So it's not even going to be that challenging. The first Hintertomb Chalice here, which, if I remember right, you get the initial Hintertomb Chalice in a side room in Central Pthumerian. It's either Central Pthumerian or it's regular Pthumerian, or maybe one of the root chalices, I can't remember. It's only a Depth 2 dungeon, so it's a cakewalk. We're already on layer 3. Lower Hintertombs is going to be our first Depth 3 dungeon, so it'll be a little bit more challenging, but overall, I don't think it's going to give me too much trouble. That's slowing me down. It's quicker to roll through, because you don't have a ring like you did in Dark Souls, which lets you move faster through swamp, son of a bitch. I have to take a closer look the next time we come across one of those enemies with the shotgun. Because I think they're using the double-barreled shotgun from the Project Beast trailer that we never got. I think that's what they're using. Oh, come on, come on. Come on, Boulder. Yeah! It's just trying to get away from them without having to fight. I hear a skull beast scurrying around. Yeah. I was gonna let it get away if I could find the door out of this place, but I think this is a dead end. Only thing in here was scurrying skull beast, which in the Chalice Dungeons they don't seem to drop upgrade materials. They instead drop blood gemstones. Oh, wait, is this just a treasure room, too? Oh, there's a couple more. A couple more of the shotgun men. Yeah, I think they all are using that double barrel. That's only Ritual Blood 3, this is what I mean. It's not really worth taking the time to explore the Hintertombs that much. We're never going to need any of the materials we find in here again. Alright. So clearly I missed something. Because I do not know where the lever is. So we're going to go a little bit deeper. Ooh, sorry, I just had a coughing fit. That door is not gonna lead, anywhere special. Yeah, this just leads back out to, the room we started in. Yeah, so that's a shortcut back around. I have a little tickle in my throat. Oh god, I feel stupid now. What have I missed? This one is actually apparently a little bit tricky to navigate. Where could I have missed something? I'm guessing this is the only path forward. So it's got to be either down that hallway or in here somewhere. Oh god, I completely missed this door because it's pitch black in this room. Torch only lights so much of the way in front of you. And the lever's right up here. Thank you, invincibility frames. Not gonna have to deal with... Whoa! Crazy eyes. Look at him go! Brilliant, I love that enemy. We'll be fighting a lot more of them later on. For now... Whoa. God, I went to get the blood vials, and I'm kind of trapped in the corner here. Let's finish him, actually. Shit! Okay, yeah, that was a huge mistake. I shouldn't have ever even bothered with that. I wanted to grab the vials off that corpse just to top up, but god, that was not worth it. Do I even want to go back for those 100,000 souls? It's kind of chump change compared to what I'm going to be getting in the depth 3 and beyond dungeons. It's not apparent right now, but once you hit like the later higher difficulty Chalice Dungeons, you get blood echoes so obnoxiously fast. 100's still about enough for a level up. I think it's a little bit shy. Where do those echoes go? Does the screaming thing up here have them? No, you don't. I'll finish you off anyway. Yeah, I really botched that. Oof. Never thought I would be dying again in a Depth 2 Hintertomb dungeon. Fuck. Oh, they're back there. Yeah, I thought someone would have picked them up. So we got a little bit of excitement going on in the Hintertombs. I went the wrong way. Shit. This floor is apparently confusing the shit out of me. I'm botching this all up. Wait, that's poison. Poison blood. And then over on the left is going to be the doorway to the boss. And I think this should be the last one for the basic Hintertomb dungeon. Luckily, it's pretty speedy, as you can see. The time-consuming part of most of the dungeons is exploring them and killing the enemies, which you kind of need to do. Because, in most cases anyway, like not here obviously, because there's no real need to explore the Hintertombs because nothing of value is down here. You could just kind of beeline it for the levers and the bosses. Even if you don't know where the levers are, it's usually not that hard to find them. Except in this case, apparently, if you're blind like me. It's set up pretty intuitively most of the time. Most of the rooms are connected, so if you accidentally head to a side path, you can move back to the right course. But here we have a recycled Bloodstarved Beast. His arena is very, very cool. It's kind of like this archipelago in the middle of a bloody poison swamp. with a circle encasing it, a circle of stone that you can kind of use as a platform to fight on. A bit over-leveled for him, though. I wish the Bloodstarved Beast you fight in the main game was in this arena, instead of that super long hallway with all the columns. But from the Bloodstarved Beast Chalice, Hintertomb Chalice version, you would normally get the lower Hintertomb Chalice, and I believe you would get the Root Chalice from the boss right before him, which was the canon variant of the Undead Giant. But I already had both of those, so we can just go straight to the altar. I bought my Bloodshot Eyeballs earlier from the Insight Shop, so I have just enough. I have just enough to make this right away. And we can get going on the lower Hintertombs. While we're going through, I'm going to pass the time with a couple of random tangents. So how about another Miyazaki story? I should have brought this up last time, but I don't know why I didn't. I kind of just forgot about it. In some interview, it wasn't the Guardian one. I can't remember where it was, though. In some interview, somebody asked him about why he pulled out of leading the development for Dark Souls 2. And he said something to the effect of, it was because he had so many opportunities given to him that he wanted to kind of pay all of that good fortune forward and let somebody else shine and see what kind of talent would emerge from that development process. And it was partially just like of personal interest for him to see kind of what emerged from there, but it's also him kind of planting the seeds for the future of FromSoft. So that it's the company's not like a one-trick pony. I know it's not. FromSoft was around long before Miyazaki, and they were putting out games that people loved long before Miyazaki was around. And to be fair, Miyazaki has only been the lead on Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and Bloodborne. So all the lip service I pay to Hidetaka Miyazaki is a little bit unfair to everyone else at FromSoft who has done an amazing job, including everyone else who has worked on the games that he's been the director for. He's just kind of the... Oh, hold on. Sorry about that, I had to take that call. I probably should have left the ringer off, though, and just put it on vibrate. This has been like the episode of interruptions so far. Oh, next thing, UPS is going to ring my doorbell and drop a package off, I'm sure. First world problems. Where was I going with that thought on Miyazaki? I don't mean to give him all of the credit because it takes an enormous number of people, and he's just kind of like the visionary leading them to the final product, but he's kind of the figurehead there, so it's just kind of easy to talk about Miyazaki as like the central figure of this game, even though so many people poured their hearts and souls into it. I just realized it was kind of punny. Okay, so we have the... Ooh. Luckily, they have to stop to attack you, so they can't actually catch up and hit you as long as you're running. I think if you're just walking or power walking, jogging, I guess this animation is, they might be able to catch up and hit you. I'm not sure. Oh, God. I think we're going back through here. Yeah. Kind of lost all my sense of direction once the phone rang. Yep, roll through. Sometimes if you're unlucky, you won't be able to start the roll-up in time once you open the door, because you'll have invincibility from the door opening animation or the chest opening, whatever you're doing, lever pulling. If you're unlucky enough, an enemy's attack will land just the precise moment that your invincibility ends, but before you can start a roll-up. I'm going to kind of safely close the distance on this guy. Stun lock him with a couple quick sword attacks. Stamina. I could have tried a plunging attack, but I really don't want to get grabbed by any more of these brain suckers. So we've had a man-eater boar and a brain sucker now recycled as bosses, and a blood-starved beast fight. The second blood-starved beast. And you notice, even for being a depth 3 boss, he still didn't pose that much of a threat for the state we're in right now. Somebody told me a long time ago that they are weak to thrust type damage, which the sword thankfully does. They simplified the those kind of damage modifiers too. It used to be slash, thrust, piercing, and blunt, I think, were the 4 categories of weapon type damage. Now it's just blunt and thrust. I think thrust counts for anything bladed. Anything you could use to cut or stab or poke or anything like that. So I played a little bit of Scholar of the First Sin. I finally picked that up on PC. I was playing a little bit of Scholar of the First Sin a couple days ago, and I was trying to help someone with Dark Souls a couple weeks ago, so I replayed a little bit of that, and holy shit, it is really hard to go back now and readjust. It feels like moving through mud by comparison to Bloodborne. Not only the dashing, but just like movement in general, running around, jogging around, swinging your weapon, it's all so much more graceful now. Quick. I really don't know how to go back. Like, I don't want to say it's ruined the previous Souls games yet, because I haven't really gone back and put that much time into them since I picked Bloodborne up. Only kind of like a half hour here, a half hour there, but it is so difficult to readjust. That's not even really getting into like the flow of combat. Like, I'm just talking about general game pacing and movement speed and stuff like that. I'm not even talking about the pace of combat with the shield and no regeneration. The game just feels a lot more sluggish. And then in Dark Souls and Demon Souls having only a 4-way roll. Yeah. Ah, no, it didn't parry. Sometimes you can parry enemies out of their jumping attack animation, which feels like the best kind of parry. The Forgotten Madman is the second boss of the lower Hintertombs, and the gear that they're wearing, which appears to be like a robe adorned in some kind of dead snake or something to that effect, that's a piece of gear that I got and showed off very briefly during the main LP. You can buy it for insight once you kill this boss for the first time, or these bosses rather. One is just wielding a Ludwig sword, the other one's wielding, I can't tell if that's a flame sprayer or a Rosmarinus, and a Kirkhammer. No problem though. They can be a little bit annoying. There's a cheesy little strat you can use against them involving the Beast Claws, how quickly they attack and stun lock. And when you run out of stamina, you can use Beast Roar to knock them down to get your stamina back. You can kind of just chain that stuff together. Very cool little cheesy strat. Yeah, like, I don't know how many hours I'm going to have to reinvest in Dark Souls or Demon Souls or Dark 2 to get reacclimated to it, or even if I even want to. And those are games I've put hundreds of hours into, and just putting like 50 hours into Bloodborne is making it hard to go back to a game that kind of essentially has the same DNA. It's unreal how much of a difference there is between them. And it's really, that difference isn't as apparent until you go back to one of the older ones. It's like going from RE4 to Vanquish. It's nuts. Or I guess Vanquish to RE4. Or maybe a more fitting comparison, it's like going from Demon Souls back to Kingsfield 4. Oh man, IGN asked Miyazaki about VR, and all I can think about now is FromSoft bringing back Kingsfield on current gen with, like, the Morpheus or Oculus support. Could you imagine that? Like, can you actually imagine that? My heart's pounding just thinking about that. I want that so bad. The second I hear the words Kingsfield 5, I am starting a Kingsfield 4 Ancient City Let's Play. Shit. Kingsfield would be so good on the Oculus. I have to stop wanting things that are never ever gonna happen. I'm getting way too hyped for shit that's, like, that far-fetched. Ugh. Can you imagine, though? This motherfucker knocked me off a ledge I didn't even know was there. He tries to take a cheap shot at you as soon as you enter the room with a flaming crossbow. Where are my souls? There they are. Here we go. Should be... he's teleporting around right in front of me. Okay. The Pthumerian Elder is a really cool boss fight. I like this fight a lot. It's, I think, the only thing worth doing the Hintertombs for. Since it's only a Depth 3 boss, it's not extremely challenging, but it is a harder fight than any of the other Hintertombs bosses that we've done so far. I'm even going to drop the qualifier. It's a fairly tough fight. Not just for the Hintertombs, but in general. I'm, like, vastly over-leveled for this, and he can still give me a little bit of trouble if he wants. That delayed spin attack. So below 50% health, his staff, his scythe, I wish you could get that as a weapon, will start glowing, and he gains a whole bunch of new attacks. Like that. I almost never see him do that attack. Starts spinning out fireballs when he spins it above his head like that. Oh, he's doing it twice. And he has that follow-up slash. For the most part, he's going to teleport around. He can transform it into a flaming lance. Which, man, I wish you could get that weapon. I can imagine it being like the Nitrous in that it doesn't have other forms, but when you hit L1 to transform it, it gains a fiery buff, and then depending on which attack you use, it takes the different forms, like the Morning Star, like that, the lance form, the sword, the scythe. It'd be a really dope weapon to have, maybe in the expansion. I'm pretty sure you could parry his first form before he enchants it. I have not been able to land a parry against the enchanted form of the weapon, so I'm not sure if he becomes unparryable in that state. And for beating him, you get the short root ritual chalice, which we will check it out as soon as I find it. Am I just passing over it? No, those are all the Pthumeros I have, all the Loran ones, Hintertombs. Is it not with the other chalices? Chalice material, maybe? No. Key items? That's the only other thing I can think. Yeah, that's odd. One of the root chalices that breaks various seals in the old labyrinth. The glass chalice, when full, is used in a short ritual to quickly create and join a chalice dungeon, not for use in a ritual using a standard material. Short rituals are conducted at the makeshift altar. The short ritual root chalice is like a co-op matchmaking chalice. It throws you into some jolly cooperation in a random dungeon, even if it's one that you don't have the materials for yet. And that's gonna do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.